Hi everyone, Richard from ProHouse Health and Safety Consultancy. Hope everyone is well and looking after themselves during this difficult period. So today I'm joined by Claire of New Healthy Body. She's based in Sheffield. She's a Pilates and fitness instructor. And we're going to talk about how her business, how she can help you and the type of industry she does that can support businesses with their employees, keeping them healthy while they're at work and the workplace, and also whilst you're working at home. Because a lot of people are working at home at the moment, and some key things that you need to do to keep healthy and obviously look after your employees. So over to you, Claire. How are you? Good morning.
I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction.
No worries, no worries. So listen, I've got a lot of clients and we talk to a lot of people that are currently working at home. And I deal with a lot of people that work in offices, call centers and environments like that. And we do carry out VDU assessments, ergonomic assessments, and talk to them about what they're doing, how they can sit properly, look after themselves a bit more. But can you tell me kind of like the risks of, I guess, sitting down too long on a long day, 8-9 hours? People are sat down at the moment, perhaps even more. What kind of things what are the risks of that?
So the negative effects of sitting result in lots of tight muscles and lots of overstretched weak muscles. So when we sit, we tend to slouch forward. We all do it, including myself when I'm on the computer.
Yep.
So what happens then is we really close down on the chest. So the chest muscles become tight and the muscles across the upper back become really weak. Our heads drop forward as well. So our heads go into what we call a forward chin position. So we're putting our unnecessary pressure through the neck. So because of that, our bodies get used to that default position and we tend to reset our bodies into this slump position rather than know what good posture is about. So our ears, shoulders, hips, knees and ankles when stood should all be in line for optimal position.
Okay.
When we slouch, our heads come forward and a lot of people, the ear drops forward from the shoulders quite a bit. And for every inch the head drops forward, it's an extra 10 pounds of pressure for the spine and the muscles and everything along the back. So it's really important that we are aware of that and we don't get into that as a normal seated position.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I definitely listen. I know how I should be sat. I've just literally sat, but you forget it. A bit complacency and depending on particularly at home. Sometimes you could be sat on the settee with a laptop, or even at the moment I'm sat at a dining room table and I've got a dining room chair which is actually generally keeps me sat quite well, but I'm leaning forward at this moment in time, and I certainly feel that on my back and my neck and so on, and I know other individuals do as well. So it's going to alter obviously your back, your neck, but what other parts of the body will it affect? Will it you kind of joints or?
Well, legs, glutes and hip flexors, they become weaker because when we sit, we shorten the hip flexors right at the top of the legs.
Okay.
When they become short, they become tight and it has an effect on our pelvis. So our pelvis then tilts forward, putting more pressure on the disc in the lower back. Hence why we get a lot of back pain through sitting positions, because we're slouching forward, putting unnecessary pressure on the back there.
Yeah.
Then the hip flexors are becoming tight, which tilts the pelvis, so we're putting unnecessary pressure on the lower back as well. So all these kind of bad habits we're getting into has a really negative effect on our bodies.
Okay. And I'm just linking back to when we do manual handling training for people. Now the HSC do a video called Child's Play, and it literally talks about if you watch a child pick something up when they're a toddler, they do it perfect. The way they lower it, they maintain a natural curve in the spine, absolutely brilliant. But as we get older, we become lazy, we become complacent, we scoop things up, we don't. So I think that's very much the same, because we know we should be sat right, but because of all the other things going on in our lives, I mean, it could be the phone and social media and busyness, we do tend to kind of not sit correctly and lose that kind of, I guess, focus and making sure we do what we need to do and do it in the right way. So What, I mean, we're talking about office people here at the moment. We're talking about people working at home, which is obviously massive, and a massive challenge for those working at home because they don't have perhaps the correct equipment because of scenarios. They haven't got the room. Many won't have the room to do
Yeah.
that, to have a correct desk, a correct type of chair. But I personally advise there's some great things you can do to make your lifestyle a lot easier. But the other kind of people, what about tradespeople? What about people in company cars, in vehicles? They are doing a very, they could be sat down for a few hours in a van, then they could be out doing something very physical, manual. What kind of things can they do? What's the importance, and how does it affect them sat in a vehicle all day long?
Like you say, they're in the cars and vans quite a lot of the day, driving to and from jobs. They tend to not have the car seat in the right position, so that has a massive effect. It should be exactly the same as when we're at a desk. We should have a good seated position whilst driving. With tradespeople as well, the positions that they're in, they're actually on the floor, they're crouching forward, they can be electricians the opposite way. So yeah, tradespeople, we do have a lot of with back issues because of one, driving, and two, the actual trade they're doing causes the same postural problems.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I mean, from being in the car for many hours a day and for many years, I know when kind of you get out of the car and you kind of unfold yourself because you've been sat in
Yeah,
that same position for a long time, and perhaps holding the steering wheel, you roll your shoulders over. It's no different, as you say, to being sat in front of a desk. Once you stand up from that chair, you got to unstretch, unravel yourself, your shoulders, and so on. And also, we always advise, like we're driving and like being sat at the desk, be it at home or in the office, we need to make sure we have a little bit of time away from what we're doing just to alter the body position, don't we? So
exactly.
what kind of, I guess, what kind of things can you do to improve it and keep yourself kind of healthy and, not obviously be in that situation where your back is hurting every time you stand up? What could you advise on that?
Well, firstly, like you've mentioned, we need to ensure that we've got good ergonomics if we're working from a desk. Driving position, same again, we need to conduct a risk assessment and make sure we've got our actual chair and our seats in the right position.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing to look at. Second thing, I think you mentioned briefly earlier, breaks. We need to be taking regular breaks.
Yeah.
At least they say 30 minutes. Now I know myself, you're stuck into a job, 30 minutes, you're not going to get up. So I tend to tell our customers at least every hour, set a reminder on your watch or your phone, just for you to get up, stretch your legs, pop kettle on or pop to the toilet, do something to take you away from your desk. I know that can be quite difficult if you're driving for long periods, but think about trying to pull over, maybe go to a service station just to get up, have a little stretch before continuing your long drives. So that's
Yeah.
the
Well,
first.
I think with you take someone that's working when you're at a workplace, you probably are getting up a little bit more. You probably are going to you'll be going to the restroom. You'll be going to make a coffee. You'll be just going to have a chat with someone or to the photocopier or doing something like that. At home, you're basically, from right in the morning, other than getting up maybe to help with the homeschooling, you are sat throughout the day and probably doing more hours in the end as well. So are there any, and some people laugh at this, but I said it's important that you do some kind of exercise. Is there anything they can do whilst sat at their desks, at their chairs, or in the cars within reason? Is there anything they can do to kind of help their posture and any exercises of any type?
Yeah, definitely. So the first thing we always teach our customers is to be able to sit and stand in good neutral positions. So the
Okay.
most effective position for our body. So to do that, we make sure the seat height is right first so that you can place the feet firmly on the floor. If you've got a chair a little bit higher, for example, you're using the kitchen chair, etc., you might want to invest in a little footstool. If you've got an office chair, you adjust it to suit. Then we think about a nice tall posture. So like when you're at school, your teachers tell you to sit up straight, exactly the same kind of situation.
Right.
Imagine a piece of string pulling the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, which lifts everything, and you'll
Yep.
sit right up onto the sit bones. We
Yeah.
then think about a shoulders. So we can still be rounding forward with those shoulders, especially if we're tight. So we take the shoulders up towards the ears and retract them back and down, which will open across the chest.
Okay.
This will feel very unnatural because we've been slouched for a while. So just doing this for maybe a few minutes while you're taking a little bit of a break, even better, do some more movement, do some more exercise. We'll just reset the body a little bit. So that's your first key pointer, being able to sit and stand correctly. Then you can do a little bit of movement. So we tend to hold a lot of stress and tension in the neck. Like I mentioned earlier, the ears drop forward from our shoulders. So a little exercise I teach is what we call a chin tuck. So if you imagine your chin on a shelf.
Which chin are you referring to? Sorry.
Sorry, carry on. So yeah, the chin on a shelf. And then I want you to retract to the back of the shelf, which will give you a double chin. And then you let your head rest back to its normal position.
Okay.
And then you retract.
Yeah.
And relax. So what's that doing is actually activating the muscles in the neck. We're working the muscles and we're trying to realign the ear and the shoulder. So it's strengthening that area. So that's a chin tuck. Then doing some gentle neck exercises. So still think about that chin on a shelf, turning to look over your shoulder, bringing it back to center, changing to the other side, back to center. So you're just getting a little bit of rotation of the neck. We might drop the ear towards the shoulder, back to center, change to the other side. So it's just allowing the neck to move more freely, getting some movement and mobility in the neck. We mentioned earlier about the shoulders. So simple shoulder rolls, such as bringing the shoulders up, back and down, taking them forward, up, back and down, will really just allow the chest muscles to stretch, the muscles across the upper back to actually work, and allow the shoulders to reset. So that's the upper part of the body. And then there's things like getting some movement within the spine. So keeping that nice seated position, place the thumbs on the center of the chest, fingertips together, shoulders back and down. We can add in a twist. So we breathe in, we breathe out to twist. Breathe in to come back, out to the other side. Now, when we do this, if you were to glance down with your eyes, keep your nose in line with your fingertips, ensures that the body, the spine moves as a unit. So we're not letting the head do its own thing. Another movement could be a lateral flexion, where we'll take it over to the side, back to center, change to the other side. So there's lots of little movements like this we can do while sat in the chair. Even better, get up out of your chair so we can lengthen through those hip flexors and do the same type of things. So that's little basics that I'd recommend that you just add into your little routine throughout the day, just to get some resetting of the body, stretch out those tight muscles and just realign things. And it gives you a little bit of a break from what you're doing as well.
Absolutely. Would you recommend a couple of times a day? Is it at the start of the day, at the end of the day, or just generally throughout the day, different times to do that?
Whatever suits you as an individual. So I never kind of give you a kind of plan. Everybody's life's different. The more you do it, especially if you know you've sat for a long period and you can feel the back becoming quite tight, the more you do it, the better. Another great exercise is the pelvic tilt. So you tilt the pelvis backwards and forwards, and this is lovely for releasing tension in your lower back. So any movement that feels good, eases that tension, is a must.
Fantastic. And I guess you've said with any environment, it's about, if you can, get up, have a walk around, even if it's on the phone, if it's safe to do so, have a walk around. But yeah, just doing something different, isn't it? Get out of that seated position. Even if you're driving, after a while, pull over aside, get yourself a coffee, just have a bit of a stretch. You're going to feel that much more refreshed, aren't you, before you carry on with your journey or carry on doing your task. So Definitely. Is there a recommendation how many kind of minutes or things you should do each week? Is there any advice on that, or is it just what's good for you? Or
with regards to postural exercises, as often as you can remember throughout the day. With regards to activity in general, at least 150 minutes a day, a week. That'd have been a long time.
Yeah, well, yeah.
150 minutes a week. And that's kind of can be split up over the week. So you could be doing an hour at the weekend, like 20 minutes walk throughout the week. The more you do, the better. So as much activity as possible. It just keeps us moving. We weren't born to sit down. You know, us as human beings, we're supposed to be moving about, but our sedentary lifestyle is causing us issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, as much exercise as possible.
Okay. And I guess when I look at some of the businesses I work with, we've got a very, very young workforce, and in the current climate, more and more people are sat at home or watching Netflix and films and so on. And those that are, I guess, on gaming machines are getting less and less exercise. So it's really important because, you know, when they reach their 50s, probably earlier than that, they're going to be suffering massively. So these little exercises that you're suggesting that they do, I think is going to be a massive, real benefit to both them, to their business, business owners should encourage it as well. And they should absolutely lead from the front. And, you know, I've talked about culture, business culture, safety culture with other businesses. And that's one of the things these business owners, I think, is a real opportunity for them to demonstrate and lead from the front with things like you're talking about, those kind of exercises. Certainly in abroad in Japan and things like Toyota, they do massive kind of things, don't they, before they start the shift, exercise with the employees to get them ready and motivated for that particular day. Fantastic. So listen, if businesses want to get in touch with you, or if anyone wants to come along to your Pilates classes, I know at the moment a lot of it's online because of the current climate, but hopefully when you're open, but how can they get in touch with you?
So they can get in touch with us through our website, which is www.newhealthybody.uk, which I can send the information, and if anybody needs it, then
we'll post that.
You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. We have got a Facebook group called Improve Your Health and Wellbeing. This is a group that is open to anybody, where we share daily tips and advice on how to improve their health and wellbeing. A lot of it is down to posture. So we have daily videos on there, and we've created a units folder so people can just follow the videos and start to implement it themselves. If they would like to know a little bit more and go into things further, we do run a 21-day Pilates program where you have access to our online, or when the studio's open, the studio-based classes, and they access them on a weekly basis for 21 days. They'll get access to one class a week, but also we give them advice and guidance on the videos they can be using on the other days. And that's just a little introduction to how Pilates can really start to help their health and well-being.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, if you're someone that needs any support in terms of doing a little bit of exercise, you're working at home, drop onto Clare's Facebook page, have a look at her website, and see if you can join in with some of those exercises. I know I've spoken to lots of people who've already joined you, Clare, and are doing some of the courses with you, and they are reaping the benefits. They feel healthier, both physically and mentally. So once again, thank you. If anyone would like any support from myself, we are ProHas Safety Support. You can find us at prohas.co.uk or at ProHas Safety on Facebook. Give us a shout. We do lots of home worker assessments. So we talk about some of the things that Clare's been covering, ergonomics, making sure generally you're working safe at home and in the workplace. So until then, join me again next time, and we'll be talking to another professional, someone else is doing something related to safety that links very nicely into our business. And if you would like to subscribe to our channel, details are posted below, and we will hopefully see you soon. Once again, thank you, Clare.
Thank you.
Thank you.